The year is 1916. Europe is in turmoil, its cities and countryside scarred by the relentless violence of the Great War. The world is engulfed in the Great War. Nations clash on a scale never seen before, and the cost in human life is staggering. Amidst the chaos, a new kind of ship sails, His Majesty's hospital ship Britannic. She glides through dangerous waters, her mission clear. Not a warship, but a vessel of mercy. Her white hull and red cross is a symbol of hope. To many, she is a lifeline in a world torn apart. Britannic was born for luxury, meant to cross the Atlantic in style. Her grand staircases and opulent dining rooms were designed for peace, not conflict. But war changed her destiny. Her grand halls became hospital wards, filled with the wounded and the weary. She carried wounded soldiers from Gallipoli and the Somme, offering a chance to heal. For many, Britannic was the difference between life and death. Each voyage was a defiance against destruction, a floating sanctuary. Inside, nurses and doctors worked tirelessly, bringing comfort amid chaos. Yet, the Aegean Sea was treacherous. U-boats and mines lurked below, invisible threats waiting in the deep. Every journey was a gamble, the crew and nurses aware of the risks. Fear was a constant companion, but so was courage. They sailed under a fragile truce, trusting in the laws of war and the ship's markings. The Red Crosses were meant to protect, but nothing was certain. But in war, promises are fragile, and the sea is unforgiving. Storms and enemy threats could strike at any moment. Britannic pressed on, a painted giant in hostile waters. Her presence was both a statement and a risk. Her mission, to save, to heal, to bring solace. Every life she touched was a testament to hope, but even symbols of hope are not immune to fate. The ocean held secrets, and danger was never far away. The world watched as she sailed into the unknown. Families and loved ones hoped for her safe return. The shadow of war loomed, but Britannic remained a beacon. Her lights shone bright, a promise in the darkness. Her story was just beginning. The journey ahead would test her strength and the resolve of all aboard. Into the unknown, she sailed, carrying hope, courage, and the weight of a world at war. Britannic was one of three sisters, Olympic, Titanic, and herself. Built by the same hands, they were the pride of the White Star Line. But Titanic's name was already synonymous with disaster. Her sinking haunted Britannic's legacy. Lessons were learned. Britannic was built stronger, safer, with reinforced hulls and more lifeboats. Every precaution was taken to avoid repeating history. Yet, irony lingered. Titanic, a vessel of peace, met a violent end. Now Britannic, designed for luxury, served in war. She became a vessel of healing, a chance for redemption. But the sea is indifferent to hope or hubris. Britannic's improvements were significant, but safety is relative in wartime. Designers prepared her for icebergs, not for mines or torpedoes. The echoes of Titanic's doom were always present. Would Britannic's fate be different? The question lingered as she sailed on. November 21, 1916. The Aegean Sea was calm, the morning bright. Britannic was on her sixth voyage, heading to Lemnos for more wounded. On board, nurses prepared, doctors checked supplies, and breakfast was served. The ship hummed with routine, a community dedicated to healing. Despite the war, there was a sense of safety. Britannic was vast, well-marked, and protected by international law. The islands slipped by in golden light, masking the dangers below. The sea's surface sparkled, hiding the silent threat beneath. The calm was deceptive, a prelude to chaos. No one knew this serene morning would soon turn to terror. Fate was holding its breath. The illusion of safety was about to shatter. The crew and nurses went about their duties, unaware. The greatest upheaval was moments away. The calm before the storm was complete. The stage was set for disaster. At 8:12 a.m., disaster struck with terrifying suddenness, shattering the calm of the morning. A deafening explosion tore through Britannic's hull, sending shockwaves through the entire vessel and echoing across the Aegean Sea. The ship shuddered violently, listing sharply to starboard as metal groaned and rivets popped under the strain. Panic erupted, alarms blared, orders were shouted, and chaos reigned as confusion swept the decks. The disciplined routine vanished, replaced by a desperate scramble for survival as people rushed for lifebelts and exits. Nurses rushed to help patients, some searching for answers in the darkness, others guiding the injured through smoke-filled corridors. Water poured in below, the sea claiming its prize as compartments flooded with alarming speed. The sinking was swift. This was no slow descent like Titanic, but a rapid, terrifying plunge. Captain Charles Bartlett, on the bridge, felt the impact and saw the dire consequences unfolding before his eyes. He had to act fast. His ship was dying. Hundreds of lives depended on his every decision in those frantic moments. The power flickered. Parts of the ship plunged into darkness, making escape even more perilous. The smell of fear and cordite filled the air, mingling with the acrid scent of burning oil and seawater. The list grew worse, the situation more dire by the second, as the ship tilted further and chaos intensified. The crew fought to maintain order, but the ship was mortally wounded, and panic threatened to overwhelm discipline. Survival instincts took over as the grim reality set in. There was little time left. The mighty Britannic was sinking, fast. Every second counted as lifeboats were hurriedly prepared and launched. The captain's experience was tested as never before, forced to make impossible choices in the face of disaster. The ship's fate hung in the balance, every moment bringing it closer to the abyss. The sea was relentless, the damage catastrophic, and hope began to fade as the water rose. The hope that had defined Britannic was slipping away, replaced by dread and disbelief. The crew and nurses faced the unthinkable, clinging to each other as the ship's end drew near. The ship's final battle had begun. The chaos was total. The end was near, and the world watched as Britannic slipped beneath the waves. Britannic was designed to be safer than Titanic. Reinforced hull, more lifeboats, advanced safety features. Every lesson learned from the Titanic disaster was poured into her construction, with the hope that such a tragedy would never be repeated. She was hailed as the pinnacle of maritime safety, a ship built to withstand the worst the sea could offer. But war brought new dangers no blueprint could predict. The threat of mines and torpedoes turned even the safest ship into a potential target, and the rules of the sea were rewritten by conflict. The explosion, likely from a mine, breached several watertight compartments, sending shockwaves through the vessel and instantly compromising her defenses. In the warm Aegean, portholes had been left open for ventilation. It was a small comfort for those on board, but it would prove disastrous. As the ship listed, water poured in through these openings, bypassing the ship's defenses and accelerating the flooding beyond control. Captain Bartlett faced a desperate choice, one that would determine the fate of everyone aboard. Try to beach the ship on Kia, just 3 miles away, and hope to save lives before the ship went under. He ordered full speed ahead, a gamble to save all on board, risking everything on a slim chance of survival. But this decision had tragic consequences. The ship's movement made launching lifeboats even more dangerous. Launching lifeboats from a moving, listing ship was perilous. Some boats made it, others did not, and lives were lost in the chaos. The chaos and speed of the sinking overwhelmed even the best designs. Training and preparation could only do so much in the face of panic and disaster. Human ingenuity was undone by human error and the cruel chances of war. Even the most advanced ship could not escape fate. The promise of safety unraveled moment by moment, as hope gave way to desperation. The improved lifeboat davits were tested to their limits, strained by the urgency and confusion of the disaster. The sinking was too fast, the list too severe. There was little time for orderly evacuation. The fate of many was sealed by a combination of design, circumstance, and desperate choices. Reminders that even the best intentions can be undone by the unexpected. Britannic's defenses failed her when she needed them most, and the promise of absolute safety was lost to the sea. Among the nurses was Violet Jessup, a survivor of Olympic's collision and Titanic's sinking. Now she faced disaster again on Britannic. When the explosion hit, Violet's experience guided her. She helped others, gathered patience, and stayed calm amid chaos. She boarded a lifeboat, hoping fate would spare her once more. But the danger was far from over. Captain Bartlett's attempt to beach the ship meant the propellers were still turning. Violet's lifeboat and another were drawn toward the spinning blades. Realizing the peril, she jumped overboard just before her lifeboat was destroyed. She struck her head but survived, pulled from the water by another boat. Olympic, Titanic, Britannic, 3 disasters, and Violet survived them all. Some called her Miss Unsinkable. Was it luck, fate, or resilience? Her story is a testament to human endurance. Even in catastrophe, the human spirit can endure. Violet Jessup lived a long life carrying these memories. Her survival is a thread through maritime history, a reminder of courage in the face of disaster. The order to abandon ship was given, but chaos ruled. Britannic was sinking fast, the list growing worse. Launching lifeboats became a desperate struggle. Some boats were damaged, others couldn't be launched. The new davits were tested, but the speed and angle made it perilous. Captain Bartlett's decision to keep the engines running created a deadly vortex at the stern. 2 lifeboats were sucked toward the spinning propellers. The scene was horrific. Boats smashed, people thrown into the water. 30 souls perished in that moment. The captain stopped the engines, but it was too late for those caught. The remaining lifeboats launched with urgency, away from the stern. Survivors clung to wreckage, hoping for rescue. The sea was filled with debris and desperate people. The tragedy within a tragedy was complete. With engines stopped, Britannic's fate was sealed. Water poured in relentlessly. The ship listed further. The sinking was rapid, 55 minutes from explosion to disappearance. The open portholes and damage doomed her. As the bow dipped, rescue began. Warships and local fishermen raced to help. Their courage saved many lives. Humanity shone through the disaster. With a final shudder, Britannic plunged beneath the waves. She left behind debris, survivors, and a heavy silence. The great hospital ship was gone, taking 30 souls. The sea claimed her, but her story endured. The silence was broken only by the cries of the rescued. For decades, Britannic lay undisturbed, 400 feet below. In 1975, Jacques Cousteau found her, revealing a haunting tomb. She lies on her starboard side, remarkably intact, preserved by the Aegean's cold waters. The largest passenger liner on the ocean floor, she is a monument to human ambition and tragedy. The wreck is a reminder of war's cost, even for ships of mercy. Divers continue to explore her, uncovering secrets and stories. Britannic is more than a shipwreck. She's a time capsule, a memorial. Her empty wards and medical supplies speak of interrupted missions and lost lives. She honors the courage of those who sailed on her. The sea keeps her story, a tale of hope, tragedy, and endurance. Britannic warns of hubris and the limits of human control. She rests as a silent guardian, her legend undimmed. The final voyage ended here, but her lessons sail on.